Have you ever wondered what would happen if you combined Patrick Bateman and Ronnie Coleman? You get our guest today. What's up, comrades? Ashton Hall, fitness coach, entrepreneur, blogger, spring water running enthusiast, motivator, former football player, and so on down the list. For the last 6 months, this person has been harassing the entire internet with his viral routine. And he has been harassing them so much that the number of views on the video with this routine has hit a billion views in just 6 months, giving rise to a real mainstream, and then memes, collaborations with other famous personalities, and parodies. I personally remember him from his old videos in the Instagram carousel, when he filmed tutorials on how to pump up various muscle groups in an unconventional way with your own body weight. In general, discipline and routine occupy a special place in the lives of those who have ever tried to get their ass off the couch and try to improve the quality of their lives. And those who try to get off their asses not once, but twice, have probably heard or even been inspired how famous people, whose names and surnames are firmly associated with the word success, spend their days. Although it is individual for everyone, as a rule, it all comes down to several points, such as getting up early in the morning, self-education, or physical activity. So, our hero decided to keep up, and since July 2024, he has been disciplined in performing his morning routine in the best traditions of the American Psycho. And since the end of January 2025, he began to share his routine with the whole world, after which the excitement around him began. Looking at the contrast between how I live and how he lives, these 200 pounds of successful life really motivated me to become better. And for this, in today's video, we will analyze point by point what exactly Ashton's routine consists of for 24 hours, and how certain actions throughout the day contribute to improving the quality of life, whether it is making some dough, improving health or physical fitness, spawning expensive cars with sexy chicks around, and so on. So, for the sake of convenience of the storytelling, I have divided Mr. Hall's entire day into 4 time segments: morning, pre-lunch, afternoon, and evening. The most interesting time segment is morning, which for our hero begins at 3:50 am. Not 4 am, but 3:50 am. According to him, he gets up so early because this is the time he can devote a few hours to himself before the workday begins and he is busy with the calls and clients. He especially emphasizes in his videos that he always gets up this early. Trips to other countries, late night parties, nothing is a hindrance in short. This time segment is characterized mainly by hygiene, as well as cosmetic procedures and physical activity. And the first thing I want to draw attention to is the tape on his mouth that Ashton sleeps with. The purpose of such tape covering the mouth is improving the quality of sleep. With such tape, breathing goes only through the nose, which is more natural and effective way to get oxygen, which can contribute to a deeper and more restful sleep. In addition, it helps to get rid of dry mouth, throat irritation, and increased snoring. But here is another one trend purpose that concerns the correction of the jawline. Looking ahead, we find out that Ashton is, in some sense of the word, looks maxer, and it is quite possible to assume that he is pursuing the goal of not only improving the quality of sleep. According to this trend, which is spread by metrosexual boys, breathing exclusively through the nose forms a bite and makes a jawline more masculine. The problem is that it's all bullshit. My friend recently decided to do the same. He has been sleeping in bed for 8 days now and does not wake up, but for some reason there are still no noticeable changes. Besides, there are no studies confirming a significant effect of changing the jawline as such, which makes the taping of mouth pointless. Not to mention the fact that Ashton is 29 years old and the active formation of the skeleton, as it was in childhood, has already ended. It will not be possible to significantly correct the shape of the jawline with just one tape. For this purpose, he needs to contact a plastic surgeon or orthodontist. Right here, without leaving, we see the second element that should be paid attention to: a bottle of Saratoga mineral water. Ashton uses it absolutely everywhere, and not only for its intended purpose, and therefore he has to stock up on these water and whole boxes. And there is an explanation for this too. On the internet, I managed to dig up information that the use of mineral water for the same washing moisturizes the skin, nourishes and tones. Next, light morning exercise, break the bottle, read the Holy Bible, write out smart thoughts from it, after which comes the famous face plunge in ice water with lemon from the same blue bottle. And this is also a tip straight from Lux Maxing. This is done primarily to acne therapy, as it helps relieve inflammation and tighten pores. The only question is why exactly Ashton does this throughout the day several times. In all the new photos, he does not have any problems with his face in the form of acne, so the meaning of these actions is not particularly clear to me. Then the routine in the video is different, since in his reels he does different things at this time, but usually it is some kind of physical activity, mainly cardio like boxing or running. After which comes a shower and the no less famous rubbing of banana peels on the face. According to him, this is a source of natural Botox. From the scientific studies, I found it is true that banana peels can moisturize the skin and work as an anti-aging agent. But if you compare it with the effect of the cosmetics, especially premium ones, which Ashton can definitely afford, then the point of smearing his face with banana is also very questionable when he can just buy a normal product whose effectiveness will be noticeably faster. Then, after almost 5 hours, there is finally a full breakfast, which mainly consists of proteins and vegetables. At this point, the morning ends and smoothly flows into the so-called pre-lunch. In almost 5 hours of time spent, for which Ashton disciplinedly gets up at 3:50 am in the morning, he managed to actually what? Take a shower several times, conduct a whole wish ritual with his face, read for 20-25 minutes and do a cardio workout about the same amount of time? Productive, nothing to say. The next period is a pre-lunch, which starts about 9 am and lasts until 12 pm. At that same working time, when the client should call him and distract him from such important things as jumping into the water for 4 minutes and washing himself 3 times. In fact, this work involves selling people coaching programs with direct interaction with clients, with the screen turned off, which should, in theory, be reflected in his brown eyes. And filming a viral reels with training. Well, this looks really epic. At the same time, it is not entirely clear how and when Ashton maintains such excellent physical shape. It turned out by nature that a human does not need a huge muscle volume in principle, since it complicates the process of survival due to limited nutrition at the dawn of the emergence of the first Homo. In this regard, in order to maintain such a brilliant shape, he needs to regularly train with heavy weights. But in his reels, we mostly see high-intensity cardio and some ball sports that we all did when we were in school. Where's the gym, damn it? Starting from about this time of day, a certain secret powder appears in the frame that he uses. I don't know its composition, but I'll risk guessing that it's amino acids or nutri-cosmetics. Oh, and where would we be without another face dunk in water and another shower after the workout? The next time segment no longer has a strict sequence of actions, since Ashton has done all of his extremely important things before 12 o'clock. At this time, some physical activity also takes place, but it's quite varied. It can be either a tough boxing workout or a relaxing roller skating trip. And of course, another shower, dunking his face in ice cold mineral water, secret powder, appearance care like a barber's home visit, and dinner. His diet is no less questionable than his intense workouts. He weighs almost 200 pounds of lean muscle mass, and to maintain such shape, he needs to eat at least 3000 calories a day, which should include quality carbs from rice or pasta. I calculated the volume and approximate caloric content of all his meal at a glance, and came to the conclusion that with such a diet and daily high-intensity cardio several times a day, he would rather lose weight. But the shape, as we can see, is somehow mysteriously normal. The final period is the evening, from about 5 pm to 8 pm. At this time, Ashton no longer does any physical activity, but is busy going to bed. In particular, does water and cosmetic procedures, has evening meal, and can call someone or do some short hobby. Sometimes he attends some event, but if he goes there, he leaves relatively early, so that he can go to bed by 11 pm at the latest, since he gets up early, as we remember. As a part of water and cosmetic procedures, immersion in a nice bath, apparently without the preliminary warm-up during training, which is harmful. Greg has already said everything about this, we will not dwell on it.
I don't recommend you go into cold water therapy before you begin lifting weights.
Shower after a nice bath, shower after evening meal, rubbing the face with banana peel, taping the mouth, spritz on some perfume before sleeping. Why? Other things, barbecue for supper, breaking a plate of barbecue from lack of sleep, that's the result of waking up at 3:50 am, eating more barbecue, reading the Holy Bible in the evening. And this is where the successful day ends. Good night. After 8 hours of sleep, the cycle will repeat itself, and Ashton will wake up and crush today's goals. I fundamentally did not focus on and look for a logical or scientific explanation for two absurd moments, like onion wraps on his feet, since this is obviously 200% bait for our attention and comments. In short, the experiment that I announced at the beginning of the video specifically failed. Instead of a motivating example of how to turn from a gym bro from the hood into the owner of a brand new G-Wagon and a Rolex watch, we got not once an advertisement for spring water of one specific brand, dunking face in ice, and constant is. I think we've seen this somewhere before, haven't we? In my opinion, a scam occurred somewhere, but it is not entirely clear where. And if we discard the funny and not so funny jokes, the third thoughts are imposed regarding the meaning, or rather its absence, in such a daily routine. Ashton adheres to a shell with strict discipline, as if he were not a blogger, albeit a very popular one, but some owner of a large restaurant business chain. Since this type of business is characterized by high competition, unpredictability of demand, complex logistics, and the need for constant monitoring of product quality and service level, this generates constant employment and lack of time. In Ashton's case, when you begin to understand in detail what he does, you come to the conclusion that 70% of the routine is simply a complicated and paranoid self-care. The remaining 30% is filming videos and selling coaching programs, due to which he earns most of his money. There is an interview circulating on the internet where Ashton explained some ambiguities. One of the questions was the realism of his routine. He answered that the bait is a maximum of 2 or 3 cases from the entire clip, and the rest is the pure truth, and he does it every day. But what exactly is a bait? Sleeping with onions on his feet, water procedures in socks, and constantly plunging his face in ice? Or washing his feet in mineral water, smearing his belly with coconut, and using fruits instead of normal cosmetics? I have already listed 6 weird things, and this is only one Carl video. I personally came to the conclusion that it is unlikely he does all this stuff every day, and most likely it is just a bait on the scale of the entire internet. And even this video that you are watching is the result of the bait. The guy simply trolled the entire internet and lose money for views of his content with advertising, thanks to comments that increase his reach by promoting according to Instagram algorithms. Filming a video is primarily not about reality, but about a beautiful and eye-catching picture for the viewer, which Ashton did just fine. 13 million new subscribers in just half a year will not let me lie. In general, that's all. In fact, there is more to tell about this guy. Here's the scandalous race with actual speed, which Ashton Hall lost with the further development of the conflict. If you're really interested, then let me know in the comments. Like and subscribe if you don't put avocado in your hair like Ashton. See you soon, comrades.